The Foreign Office has apologised to Pope Benedict after a memo appearing to ridicule Roman Catholic teaching was leaked to the Sunday Telegraph.
The document concerning the Pope's planned visit to Britain later this year suggested he might open an abortion ward and launch his own brand of condom.
By asking him to open an abortion clinic, bless a gay marriage and launch a range of condoms. The Foreign Secretary, David Miliband, was said to have been appalled to hear of the paper, and Britain's ambassador to the Vatican, Francis Campbell, has met senior officials of the Holy See to express the government's regret. And our political correspondent, Rita Chakrabarti, joins me now from Westminster. Rita, the obvious question, I suppose, is where exactly did this document emanate from and who wrote it?
Well, it was written by a junior official in the Foreign Office, and it was written up during a brainstorming session that happened last month. The session was to come up with ideas to mark the Pope's visit to Britain in September. But there's no disguising the embarrassment in the Foreign Office tonight, with one official describing it as an act of utter stupidity on the part of the junior official who drew the document up. It appears that there was a certain amount of joking around, and these ideas were actually written down and put into a document. And as you mentioned them there, the ideas included getting Pope Benedict to open an abortion clinic, to bless a gay marriage, and to launch a range of Benedict-branded condoms. So all proposals that would appear to really mock some of the central teachings of the Catholic Church on abortion, on homosexuality, and on contraception. Well, the government has moved to try and limit the damage on this. The junior official who drew up the document has been moved. Others who were in on that meeting have been spoken to, and as you mentioned, the British ambassador to the Vatican has been to see officials there to express regret. But there's really no disguising the fact that there's fury in the Foreign Office at this and acute embarrassment.
No, absolutely. I suppose what some people might be surprised at is the fact that this thing was actually written up and distributed to officials in Whitehall and Downing Street. As you say, it seems as if there's a certain amount of joking around here, and this was a brainstorming session.
Yes, that's right. That, I think, is well, clearly the way in which this has got out is the fact that it was actually written down and circulated in a document. Now, we don't really have any more details than those that I have expressed to you. So I think the lack of understanding, if you like, is how something that may have been clearly offensive to the Vatican and to members of the Catholic community, but may have been said in a sort of jokey spirit or a slightly mocking spirit, in an informal atmosphere. How these things actually made it into a document, that really has confounded people. But the fact is that they were written down, they were distributed, and then clearly they have been leaked. And now the Foreign Office really has egg all over its face.
Sure. OK, we'll leave it there. Rita, thank you.
Jack Valero, a director of Opus Dei in the UK and coordinator of Catholic Voices, joins me on the line now. What do you make of this?
Well, when I first heard of it, I thought it was a joke. And I think Catholics will just take it as a joke and ignore it. I mean, it's just so far-fetched. It was interesting the other day to watch the debate and listen to the three leaders saying that they were happy with the Pope's visit. I think that's the general atmosphere. You know, they said, we're happy with the Pope, we don't agree with everything he says, we'd like to have a discussion, we are a very open and tolerant country and so on, and we're looking forward to it. And I think that generally is the view of most people.
So you say, Jack, that this document is so far-fetched. You think then that Catholics will not be offended by it?
Well, they may be offended, but I think, you know, I mean, it's a bit of a joke, isn't it? I mean, somebody writing these things. Obviously, it points to a kind of disconnect there. I mean, you know, David Cameron and Nick Clegg are saying, you know, I welcome the Pope, but I don't agree with his view on homosexuality. And this is a fantastic opportunity, I think, for Catholics to explain the Church's thinking on these issues, which are perhaps disconnected from the general public, on how the general public think and so on. So I think we welcome this opportunity to explain in the months to come, and something like this is just a joke, really.
Does it surprise you to learn that this discussion of the ideal visit took place, and under this heading ideal visit, the people taking part were asked to take into account even the most far-fetched ideas?
Yes, But I think this is just people who don't know, and when the Pope actually goes to a country, as we've seen in Malta and we've seen in America and in Australia, there may be people who don't understand it, and there's discussion leading up to the visit. But once the Pope comes, everyone is really delighted with all the things that take place. So I think there's just ups and downs as we prepare for it, and different people who don't really know say things. But I don't think anybody's going to take it seriously.
Okay, and so you expect that when the Pope does visit, this will be long relegated into, well, the doesn't matter pile, and there will be many other things on the agenda that do need to be discussed.
Yes, I think the next few months will be a good time to bring up all these different issues and for Catholics to explain why they believe these things and the way they believe them and how it's reasonable to do so. And then when the Pope comes, I think people will be excited, as they have been in all the other countries he's visited.
Okay, Jack Valero, thank you very much.
The good way of perhaps marking the Pope's visit to the United Kingdom this year by getting him to bless a gay marriage, open an abortion clinic, and launch his own brand of condoms. This is about as bad as it gets from the point of view of people who are of the Roman Catholic persuasion, and all would perhaps have been well had it just stayed as a joke between this person and this person's mates, but it's received pretty wide circulation now, and it's going to be a great deal wider. David Miliband, the Foreign Secretary, has said he was appalled by it, and indeed Britain's ambassador to the Vatican has actually had to apologise over what was in it. Now, when it comes to the civil servant, he has received a sort of a verbal equivalent of 6 of the best and been moved on to other duties, and the Foreign Office has issued a statement describing the whole thing as ill-judged, naive and disrespectful, which I have it down as being Mandarin speak for "it is a pity we're no longer allowed to take people like this to a place of execution and hang them, draw them and quarter them."
Britain could mark the Pope's visit this year by asking him to open an abortion clinic, bless a gay marriage and launch a range of condoms. Foreign Secretary David Miliband is said to have been appalled to hear of the paper, and Britain's ambassador to the Vatican, Francis Campbell, has met senior officials of the Holy See to express the government's regret. Well, our correspondent Andy Moore is here with more background to this rather bizarre story. Andy, tell us more about what the memo says.
Yes, I mean, for a memo written by a diplomat, it's couched in very undiplomatic language. It's said to have been written by a very junior official in their 20s. As you say, it talks about an ideal visit from the Pope, opening an abortion ward, sacking dodgy bishops, launching a range of Benedict-branded condoms, and blessing a civil partnership. All these ideas come with the rider that they're far-fetched. It's meant to be amusing, obviously, but it also clearly mocks the Pope and the Catholic Church.
So the Foreign Office obviously embarrassed about this and trying to make it clear that there was no truth in this going forward.
That's right. They withdrew the memo from circulation as soon as possible. As you say, they've acted very quickly to stop this going any further, to stop what's a minor incident becoming a major diplomatic incident. They say this is clearly a foolish document. They say the ideas in it are ill-judged, naive and disrespectful. They say we strongly value the relationship between the British government and the Holy See.
And what about the Church itself? How are they reacting?
Well, there's been some comment. This document appeared in the Sunday Telegraph and the Mail on Sunday. And in the Sunday Telegraph, the Roman Catholic Bishop of Nottingham, the Right Reverend Malcolm Amann, said it was appalling. He said you don't invite somebody to this country and then treat them with this sort of disrespect. But on the other hand, the Pope's official spokesman in the Vatican, he is quoted in the Mail on Sunday as saying he's aware of the statement made by the Foreign Office and there's no need to ruin the good relationship between the British government and the Vatican. So the signs are that at the higher levels, this isn't going to go very far.
Andy Moore, many thanks indeed.